Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Renegades React. Today, we are going to be looking at a little movie called Labyrinth. This movie's famous for several things.
Puppets. I love puppets.
Depending on the kind of puppet you're talking about, you can refer to several things. Number one, Mr. David Bowie is in this film. May he rest in peace. One of my favorite musical artists of all time. Also, starring David Bowie's sock puppet, which I think a lot of young women went through at a young age. I think a lot of women went through. I've heard women rant about this on various sites, including one that I've expressed disinterest in because of, well, I expressed disinterest in a lot of websites, but this one, Tumblr. It's Tumblr.
Oh dear.
So I went on Tumblr, and according to a lot of the women on there, they experienced a quote, and I quote, this is them, not me, a sexual awakening from watching this movie.
I've got a friend. She totally commented on the David Bowie tights. I mean, she was into it. Well, the thing is, though, okay, so Hoggle is like waist high on Bowie. So when they're having conversations, so when it's Hoggle talking, it's like Bowie.
It's all Bowie all the time.
It's just, you know.
Yeah, he wants to show him his Bowie knife.
I mean, King Jareth, baby, just
all
there.
And Hoggle's at eye level.
Hoggle's right there, so it's just like, you know, what do you do?
I don't know, man. What can you do? I mean, it's ridiculous.
You know, I have thought about that.
I just made a pun and I didn't realize it. Ridiculous.
Because I really would like to make, because usually it's pronounced a Bowie knife, but I would like to make a Bowie knife where it's like.
Don't say that to the people in England because it's Bowie over there.
It's like
David Bowie.
It's like glittery or something, you know, like with like the Ziggy Stardust, like design the handle or something.
I think you can do that. Isn't there like a type of metal that has like little?
Oh, I was thinking like casting like resin handle scales with glitter in it. And maybe like the design.
I see what you mean.
So instead of a Bowie knife, it'd be the
Bowie knife. So yeah. So you have three different pronunciations. You have the traditional, you know, Southern way of saying it because, you know, David Bowie, the knife fighter.
Jim Bowie.
David Bowie, Jim Bowie. Fuck me with a 10-foot pole. So Jim Bowie, the man who died at the Alamo, world famous knife fighter. And then you have David Bowie, world famous musical artist. Then you have how a lot of people over in the UK call him David Bowie, because they overpronounce the O, ooh, o, and ow. You know, there's O is such a versatile letter. Actually, we were taught that I was taught that in acting class. Like, the pronunciation of the O's can tell you exactly where that person is from pretty much all the time. But anyway, yeah, we focused a little bit too much on David Bowie and different parts of David Bowie's anatomy a little too much for the beginning of this video.
I mean, the cameraman is focused on it, so.
Oh, I know. I mean, you'll notice that sometimes his face isn't always in focus. But guess what else is? Guess what is in focus all the time?
Jokes aside, though, I love this movie.
Like, I do too. I do too.
I mean, Jim Henson, like, his work is legendary.
Man, and for him to die in such an unfortunate way. So yeah, he was young.
Mm-hmm.
He was young when he died, and his work I think will live forever. He'll stand the test of time, because you look at this and you look at all the puppetry work
mm-hmm.
that was done, not just on this film, but Willow and
I just love it because it's real. I mean, it's there. It's something the person can react to.
Yeah, and the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. I mean, he literally brought the turtles to life.
Yeah.
That's the best the turtles have ever looked.
Mm-hmm.
Period. I don't care what anyone says. That's the best the turtles have ever looked. So, yeah, I love this film too. I watched this with my sister actually the first time, and we both liked it for different reasons. I liked it because, hey, it was a fantasy film, and it had like crazy stuff in it that interested me as a kid. It actually like got me into fantasy films a lot more. And actually, I actually watched this before I watched Willow. And
I mean, I was definitely into the fantasy aspect, but don't get me wrong. Like
the puppets.
Also super into Jennifer Connelly.
Oh, that's another reason I like the films, because Jennifer Connelly, I mean, stunner back then.
Who is ageless. I mean,
she is ageless. She is ageless. I mean, I don't think she's aged since what was that damn movie she was in with Billy Inventing the Abbots. She was in the movie Inventing the Abbots with Billy Crudup and not River Phoenix, Joaquin Phoenix, and I don't think she's aged since then, because I looked at a picture there and I looked at a picture now, 22 years in between that film. She looks exactly the same.
She's got to be a vampire or something.
She's got to be, absolutely. I wouldn't doubt it. But yeah, Jennifer Connelly, very beautiful woman. Also very convincing in this as well. I liked her a lot in this. So anyway, I think without further ado, let's jump right into Labyrinth.
I don't like anything. Mom and Dad suck.
Well, there's no doubt about it.
Our daughter is a twat.
Tired of not being able to keep your child under control?
This is what the morning after pill is for.
Well, fear not.
Oh.
Try 80s movies. The 80s were a time when all children's media wanted to do was scare the shit out of you. And now you can bring their horrendous horrors to your home.
Hey, honey, want to see cute little mousies in The Secret of Nim?
My husband's dead.
No.
And my child is dying. Everything is trying to kill me. And my family's drowning to death.
That owl was scary.
That owl was
Wait till you see
terrifying.
a decapitated woman chasing a little girl in Return to Oz.
Yep.
From little monsters to the witches to something wicked this way comes. 80s films try to scare you.
Oh God, no! They showed it.
Nightmares
Oh.
where they can't
I just had a
what those life
flashback.
lessons are.
But can't we get in trouble for showing our kids that?
No problem. Most 80s films have a PG rating, but that was back when it actually stood for something. Nowadays, it stands for practically G. So you can plead naive innocence to your cruelty.
Oh yeah, Red Sun had a PG rating, and there was like gore and nudity, like they were chopping dudes up, and
Airplane had a PG rating, and for no reason, big pair of tits just comes running through and then runs off.
Yep.
It's like, wait, what? And okay, Watership Down. You ever seen that?
I've not seen I've got the book, but I've not seen the cartoon.
My mom got that film for me one time.
Aw, bunnies.
Yeah,
No.
cute little bunnies and all that. Oh,
They'll cut you, man.
oh, God. So my mom got that, and she left. She put it on and sat me there in my room by myself. I did not move. I watched the entire thing through, horrified of these bunnies just getting decimated and destroyed. The blood, the guts, and the gore. The bunnies trapped in the hole, no way to get out. Like, what the hell's going on? I was a kid. It messed me up, dude. I mean, and for the longest time, I actually had that repressed in my mind. And then my buddy Clint, one day, we were looking for messed up videos on YouTube, and he played a AMV to Watership Down that had Marilyn Manson's Sweet Dreams as the backing track. And it immediately, all the memories just came flooding back, and I was just like, I went into like a semi-state of catatonia, like just sitting there watching this screen as like all the memories from my childhood just came flooding back into me. And Clint looked at me, he was like, "Dude, are you okay?" And I'm like, I went over to the fridge, I pulled out my my little bottle of Jack Daniels that I had, took the cap off, and drank like 4 shots worth out of it. And he's like, "Dude, are you all right?" And I'm like,
Nope.
"My mom showed me that when I was." Oh, really? Sorry about that. A little bit of a familial interruption. So yeah, the Nostalgia Critic, Labyrinth. Let's instead of any more delay, let's jump right into it. Let's get right back into it.
When I killed your brother, I talked just like this.
Endless despair. No. Will she ever socialize again?
If she does, just show her Watership down.
Oh,
What made me a stronger human being will scar my kids for life.
It burns. 80s movies.
yeah, it does.
Making modern media look like pussies for generations.
A family picture. You've seen Mad Max Fury Road, haven't you?
Yep.
So we could do that one as well, but I don't know.
Hello, I'm the Nostalgia Guy. Remember it so you don't have to. We see a lot of stars in our lifetime. Some old, some new, some shine brighter than others. You know that eventually every star has to disappear, but when one that shines so uniquely fades, the sky doesn't feel the same without it. Especially when it orbited a solar system of other uniquely shining stars that brought us a galaxy of wonder that we still look in awe at today. And just in time for its 30th anniversary, we're gonna look at that galaxy. This is Labyrinth. This is a film that's certainly been no stranger in the past, yet Labyrinth has never been given a full Nostalgia Critic review. On the one hand, you can see why. It's a good movie. Directed by Jim Henson, written by Terry Jones, produced by George Lucas, and with songs by the film's antagonist, the late David Bowie. But on the other hand, it's such a strange and out there flick that it's impossible not to shake your head and laugh at the surreal drug overdose that you're experiencing. It deserves to be talked about, and that's exactly what we're gonna do. So experience the wonder and of one of the strangest films to ever come out of the 80s. Let's take a look at Labyrinth. Wow, the Owls of Gazul doesn't hold up as well as I thought. Actually, that's just the opening credits, leading us to a girl named Sarah, played by Jennifer Connelly, doing Shakespeare in the Park all by herself while reciting lines to a perched owl and her dog. That's just what I imagine a girl who looks like Jennifer Connelly would do.
I don't believe it. It's 7 o'clock.
Because every 80s kid film has to start with the main character being late for something, she finds she's late for babysitting her brother Toby, and her mother's shoulder pads are not happy about this at all.
80s fashion.
I can't do anything right, can I?
Yeah, as you probably noticed very quickly, our main character is a bit of a pain in the ass.
There was a beautiful young girl whose stepmother always made her stay home with the baby.
She's like a one-person Facebook argument. She even gets upset if her teddy bear is not in the right place.
Lancelot! Someone has been in my room again. I hate that. I hate it!
The first sign of accepting my white privilege is acting like I hate it!
I hate you.
Doesn't
I hate
exist.
you!
Future Oscar winner, everybody. Couldn't you just predict it?
You really wanted to talk to me, didn't you?
Oh yeah, like everything Ian McKellen did was
Granted, her
freaking
performance
gold.
does get better as the film goes on, but for the first 10 minutes, you can pretty much call her Hayden Connolly.
Nothing to talk about.
I wouldn't go that far.
Someone take me away from this awful place.
My point of view, the Jedi are evil.
I can bear it no longer.
You underestimate my power.
My power.
Fair, she does go in and out of a British accent like Carrie Fisher.
You really wanted to talk to me. Knock it off. I wish the goblins would come and take you.
Maybe Lucas Productions have a weird British accent virus.
Goblin King!
Maybe.
Goblin King! Wherever you may be, take this child of mine far away from me!
There are so many medications she would be on today. You know what you need, honey?
Magic and mystery?
No, Zoloft.
Ritalin.
Just mix it in with the liquid tranquilizer.
Ritalin and Zoloft. Oh
Is my
god.
lullaby not working?
No, I mustn't. I mustn't say.
So she offers up her baby brother to the Goblin King. Again, as most teenagers do. But supporters from a Trump rally intercept the message, and some
Oh.
of the things she was talking about come true.
Yeah. So,
And there he is, in all his Bowie-ness. Look at that hair. By God, it's like a triple ate a watermelon that died atop of Tilda Swinton's head. Sparkle.
You're the Goblin King. I want my brother back.
Forget about the baby.
I can't. It is that I don't appreciate what you're trying to do for me.
I'm very thankful you're kidnapping my brother and sexually awakening me, but I just can't.
A gift.
Jesus, I don't think I like this new version of Mary Poppins.
Is there? In my castle. Do you still want to look?
little goblin.
Is that the castle beyond the Goblin City?
No, that's a painting. That's a model. And that's a very poor blue screen effect. But what do you care? I'm David Bowie.
You have 13 hours in which to solve the labyrinth before your baby brother becomes one of us forever.
So Sarah is pretty accepting of the whole goblins being real and one of them looking like a male Cruella de Vil as she begins her journey through the mysterious and whimsical labyrinth. A world of magic, as you can see. This creature's name is Hoggle, who spends most of his time finding beautiful fairies and gifts. God.
Take that, fairies.
Sure. You bit me.
What did you expect fairies to do?
Like granting wishes.
Shows what you know, don't it?
I try to say I don't believe in them, but then the gay pride parade comes around and suddenly they all come back to life.
It's Hoggle.
Christ, do you want to get sued? Well, that's going on.
Actually, no. That's before J.K. Rowling ever thought of that.
Describe as a Muppet Show musical number starring David Bowie. The song is obviously the catchiest in the film, and the puppet work is great too. But let's be honest, the greatest puppet work is what's going on in David Bowie.
I knew it. I knew they'd mention it.
About the ferret he was so kind enough to give a home between his legs are too many to count. In my opinion, I have already worked on it. So, because of this, I am refusing to do my top 10 David Bowie dick jokes for this review. It has to be top 15.
Yes. Yes. Do it.
I've seen less stuffing in a Thanksgiving turkey. Is that God's nose in your pants, or are you just happy to see me? Someone's got a rocket in their pocket. If you have an erection that lasts more than 4 hours, you're probably David Bowie. You should have seen the NC-17 content. Ground control to Major Tom. Get off the blue pill. Major Tom to ground control. Tell my wife I love her very much. Major Tom to ground control. I think my spaceship knows which way to go. It's the puppet, Stiffy. You think that was puppeted by Frank Oz? I'm gearing
Maybe.
up for the prestige. Want to see my Tesla coil?
You like puppets, don't you?
Be careful, big package. Any tighter and those pants will be a thong. And the #1 David Bowie dick joke is... Don't touch it! It's a Bowie constrictor! Play me off Paul!
Damn it, Critic.
Sarah comes across the old riddle
Wow.
of one path that leads onward and another that leads to certain death, with one guard who always tells the truth and one who always lies.
One of us always tells the truth, and one of us always lies.
Then wouldn't the guy who just talked be telling the truth? He can't
Yeah.
lie that one of them always lies and one of them always tells the truth, because
That's true.
if he did, he'd be telling the truth. I just ruined this scene for you. Tune in next time
Yep.
when I show you how Star Wars is actually about pedophilia. She thinks she figured out the riddle, but she should have tried door #2. However, she gets saved by some literal helping hands.
Come on, which way?
Which way?
Up or down?
Okay, half of you hands are alright, but the other half have a serious lawsuit coming.
Oh, come on. We just got over the one from Sigourney Weaver.
I wonder if any of those hands were Harvey
Who says he
Weinstein.
can help her get
Sorry.
out of the cave.
It's an oubliette.
Go back while you still can.
Legends of the Hidden Temple.
He always says that.
Where's Kirk Fogg?
Stones
Come
are
on.
particularly sparkly.
What have we here? Nothing.
Nothing. Nothing. Nothing. Tra-la-la.
What?
Even for Bowie, that was a weird thing to say.
Tra-la-la.
That technically counts as a song. Residuals.
If I thought for 1 second that you were betraying me, I'd be forced to suspend you headfirst in the bog of eternal stench.
No, Your Majesty.
Oh, there it is.
Actually giving us that visual, huh? One phallic device closer to another phallic device. I have a file cabinet full of these. The glowing hand is nothing compared to the one in his hand. There's an entire internet full of dick jokes for you. I will never run out. Such a giant can opener after them, but they of course escape. What a shock. Something weird.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
All right.
On.
Sorry.
All in favor of fast forwarding this part? Thank you. Sarah comes across some sort of creature being tortured by little goblins. Though she feels she shouldn't get involved in Muppet politics, she still decides to save it.
That's right, Ludo. I'm Sarah.
Love the puppet work on that guy.
This is the Balrog's slower cousin, Hairclog.
No.
While that's going on, we rather pointlessly cut back to David Bowie, just still being David Bowie.
So, is this all we do? I kind of figured there'd be a lot more goblining. Quiet or he'll whip his Ziggy Stardust out again.
This edit seems particularly strange, seeing how he just appears in the next scene anyway. But you know what? They had David Bowie. They're gonna use him as much as they want. Wouldn't you? So he gives Huggle a poisoned fruit to give to Sarah after making fun of the fact that she could never find someone as ugly as him like him.
You don't think a young girl could ever like a repulsive little scab like you?
Hey, come on. We can't all look like Skibble Shanks from Cats.
You'll go that bottle or I'll tip you straight into the bog of eternal stench before you can blink. If she ever kisses you, I'll turn you into a prince. Prince of the land of stench.
Really riding that stench angle. I think it's going to be the catchphrase of the movie.
Tra-la-la.
So Sarah, while wandering through the
Almost.
forest, seems to come across... Oh, that's unfortunate. That's unfortunate. You know, there's a reason most of Henson's effects were practical and didn't involve blue screen, because all of that's the exact reason why.
Your chin is dragging on the ground.
And the funny thing is, this scene ties into nothing. I mean, literally, nothing. Even the song is the most forgettable in the film. You could cut it and not a thing would be affected in the story. You know the editor must have been like,
Mr. Henson, we have to cut this scene.
Oh, but we worked so hard on it.
It's entirely pointless.
But at least we showed we could do it.
No, you didn't. I'm waiting any minute for Tim Curry to fly in and sing a song.
Bill. Could you do it for Kermit?
Oh, God, don't do this.
You can't say no to me, Bill.
I can't say no to Kermit.
Bill.
Can't say no to me, Bill.
Really like this scene to stay in the movie, Bill. Pretty please.
Okay, for you, Kermit.
I wonder how many times he actually did that to his editors.
Sing the alphabet song.
A, B, C, D, E, F, Cookie Monster.
I've had to put up with that bullshit for years. It's G. Cookie Monster isn't even a letter. It's a man. It's a freaking man with a sock on his head. G. Don't ever touch me, Bill.
Sorry.
Those Rizzo the Rat's mistake.
Oh.
I wonder how many takes they had to do of that because Malcolm wouldn't stop cracking up. I could see he was about to crack up there right at the end. Damn it.
So,
Oh,
Sarah's
God.
From being weirded to death, but she kisses Hoggle, which I guess means they're sent to the bog of eternal stench. Man, that Goblin King really means the fine print.
Tra-la-la.
They come across a fox named Didymus who... Yeah, not a fan. But he does help them get across the bridge. Oh, lovely. Sounds like half the dialogue in a Rob Schneider movie. But Hoggle is reminded to
Or a regular evening at Taco Bell.
Hoggle, what have you done?
Damn you, Sheriff.
Why is it not that hard to imagine Bowie saying, "Now I'll be fairest in in the land. The fruit.
When he said "damn you, Jared," I was just like, I thought at first when I heard it, I was just like, who's Jared? Oh, Jared.
Doesn't kill her, but instead gives a vision of. Yeah, hold on. I'm sure I got a ball joke in there somewhere. Yeah, that'll do. It looks like the Goblin King's plan is not really as diabolical as confusing. He gives her a fantasy where she's at an elegant ball in a big poofy dress and she gets to dance with a powerful, sexy man. I think that's girl porn in a nutshell. In fact, wasn't that on one of those porn for women calendars? The song itself is relaxing and a soothing tune, but with the visuals, it looks like what every girl sees after taking a drink from Bill Cosby. Sarah says no to her symbolically suggested pedophilia, and her string harness lands her safely on the ground. Bowie, to quote Tony Stark,
not a great plan.
She ends up in the dump of broken plot threads where Yoda's grandma tries to lead her in the right direction.
Nice bedroom it is.
Dreamed it all, Lancel.
Yeah, you really got me there, movie, with no resolution, no third act, and a half hour of running time left. I'm sure this was all just a dream. What a surprise. Sarah says no to her representations of teenage consumerism, meets her friends back up on MacGuffin Rock, and reaches the entrance to the Goblin City.
Well, let them all wake up. I shall fight you all to the death.
Oh, it's the guy who handles abusive reports on Twitter. I like to report a threat of my life. They do manage to get in, but they then come across another threat. A very slow, clumsy, not very threatening threat. But Hoggle comes in to save the day, which I guess excuses the whole poison fruit trying to kill you thing.
Cherith made me give you that peach. I told you I was a coward.
I forgive you, Hoggle.
That was easy.
You didn't mind that I poisoned you? Hey, you got me a dance with David Bowie. We're square. They go inside and come across.
I think most women would be okay with that.
Yep. But Jared is tired of being patient, and definitely not tired of the phallic imagery. So he does what he should have done pretty much from the very beginning. Send out a bunch of guards after her. But it's okay, because Hodor's pubic hair growls, which summons a bunch of rocks after them. Since the Ewoks destroyed the Empire, has an army been so embarrassingly taken down? Curses, I forgot they had rocks. So they get inside the castle, but Sarah insists that she needs to go in alone.
I have to face him alone.
But why?
Because that's the way it's done.
Well, if that is the way it is done, then that is the way you must do it.
Onward to your cliché. Remember us in the nonsensical reunion at the end.
So Sarah plays Where's Waldo MC Escher edition as Bowie proves what we've known all along. That he's actually a hologram. I knew it. No man that awesome could exist. The funny thing is, even though he sings a cool song and partakes in some really pretty damn amazing effects, he looks sad throughout the majority of it. For such a shaky motivation, he becomes so suddenly emotional. I'm just upset that I won't be able to meet every girl I give a sexual awakening to. Don't worry, ladies. I will visit you all in your dreams. Not even joking, I can really do that.
Give me the child.
I can be cruel.
But alas, it's time to finally hear his evil plan.
Just fear me, love me, do as I say, and I will be your slave.
That makes no sense. How can she submit to you and yet you be her slave? Unless this is a 50 Shades of Grey kind of thing, which, to be fair, if there's any man who could pull that off.
You have no power over me.
No, our budget ran out, so we couldn't film a climax. I am the man who sold the world. So she recites the words from her book, and everything goes back to normal. Toby is back, the parents return home, and somehow all her magical friends are in a room to celebrate by singing the villain song. Or at least that would be a nice ending if we didn't know what was actually going on this entire time.
Sarah, we're home. Did you have a good... Dear
Okay, it doesn't make as much sense as Sarah reading a book that comes to life because she doesn't want to babysit her brother, resulting in her fantasizing about David Bowie's space oddity and reciting the words from the book makes it all go away. Actually, it does. A lot. Well, the story doesn't always make sense, and it does have trouble staying focused. Labyrinth is an obvious excuse just to play with amazing visuals and cool ideas. However, on top of that,
and David Bowie.
There's a lot of charm to it. The characters are simple, but likable. The imagination is beyond inspiring. And of course, David Bowie steals the show in every frame. He just embodies the mystery, strangeness, and all-around coolness of who he was in this performance. It's great to see so much effort from so many talented people come together to give us something not perfect, but passionate and full of wonder. Sure, it can be weird and awkward at times, but its technology is spectacular, its simple storytelling endearing, and its ability to suck us into another world, whether through bizarre visuals or bizarre performances, is friggin' awesome. Check it out and get your magic dance on once more. I'm the Nostalgia Critic. Wild as the wind, baby.
Do you know how old Jennifer Connelly was in that film?
Wasn't she like 16?
Yep. 15 or 16, I forget. Yeah. Okay. You know what? I'm just going to mosey on past that. Okay.
Well, I mean, she's older than me, so...
No, I know she's old. Well, I know she's older than me, but I was going to say, I wonder if the thought of, like, age of consent ever entered the mind of, like, the producers on the film. It's like, shouldn't we have gotten a girl that's, like, 18 maybe? You know, someone who looks younger? But then, of course, we wouldn't have got Jennifer Connelly, which, it's a double-edged sword.
I mean, I don't know, because it's sort of based around, like, you know, kind of this young girl's, like, fantasy about this play she's reading that turns out to actually be real.
Yeah, and it's just strange to me. It's like, huh?
I mean, it wasn't like she was like.
No,
a sexual object or like
no, I know that,
yeah.
But it's just several points they made it very clear that, you know, that David Bowie had a thing for her, and
I mean, he was the villain, he was the Goblin King, so it's
no,
like,
I know it, and it's a fantasy too. I mean, it's not like it's real. It's just, I don't know, man. My brain goes weird places whenever I think about stuff too long. For me, Labyrinth, it's been a movie that never has really left my thought process because of how interesting it is and everything. And it's just, when you run out of things to gush about it, and, you know, you go back and you watch it several times and you see the intricacy of the puppetry and everything, you start looking for nitpicks about the film. And I think this is more of a nitpick in my mind than it is like a general problem. It's just strange. I felt that strange to me. That's all. And Labyrinth, such a brilliantly put together film in terms of the technical aspect. I mean, like you say, you gush about the puppets on this all the time. And
it's just, they're so cool.
Anything that Henson did, I'd say, you know what a dream of mine would have been? Jim Henson and Stan Winston working together on a film. Could you have imagined, like, Jim Henson inventing, like, a heroic puppet, and then Stan Winston inventing, like, the evil monster?
Right.
Could you imagine what those two men could have come up with?
I mean, yeah, but also that might be kind of weird because stylistically, they're so different. I mean, like from a technical aspect, I mean, both their studios produced some amazing stuff.
Well, it's those clashes that can sometimes lead to like such stark differences between like the protagonist and the antagonist. And I think if you had Jim Henson design the protagonist, which, you know, he's known for designing more friendly characters.
Right. Well, because you look at like Jim Henson directed this, and then you take like, well, what's some of the Stan Winston directed? Pumpkinhead. I mean,
Yeah,
Like,
I mean, and that's what I'm saying. You see the stark contrast between like a soft cornered like protagonist, with soft design and all that, and then you have a sharp design like with what you get with Stan Winston.
I don't know. I feel like it'd be hard to suspend disbelief for me. I think that juxtaposition would be really weird, because even the bad monsters in Labyrinth still had a whimsical quality to them.
Well, no, I know, but I'm talking like if they would go like all in on like a fan, like it's kind of like the comparison. It's kind of like the comparison between clowns. There's the friendly looking clown with the circles, and then there's the maniacal looking clowns with the sharp edges.
Right.
You see, the juxtaposition on those, transferring from one to the other, is stark, but you recognize it. Now, what I mean is, if you'd have Stan Winston design the villain, and have Jim Henson design the protagonist, you would have the clashing styles that I think would... I'm all about clashing styles and having it work just for no reason. It's just like... It's like films that shouldn't work but do for some odd reason. It's just like Ghostbusters. Ghostbusters should not have worked. But because of how it was put together and because everything fell into place so well, it became this classic. Same thing with the Blues Brothers. The Blues Brothers as well was a film that was pretty much shot guerrilla style a lot of the times with a lot of the stuff, and it came together magnificently. And I'm all about like seeing artists not go against each other, but work together to see what they can both come up with, and work simultaneously on the same project, and give them both free reign. Like, don't have one tell the other what to do. Just let them build what they want, and both of them be in awe of each other, and like talk about how they did this or how they did that, or what technique they used for having the puppetry work in this fashion. I mean, like if they use the like a quad directional or tri-directional pulley system where you can pull one string, and depending on the amount of tension you put on it, it can pull either one of the pulley strings or all three. Have you seen that? Have you seen like the pulley tension system that some of them use?
I mean, I've seen a lot of stuff over the years, but I don't recall that one specifically.
It's very interesting how the stuff works, and I'd love to like take a dive into like Jim Henson's archives and see how he did a lot of the Turtles ones interest me the most, because from what I understand, they had the internal actor on it, but they also had like tubes running to it that had like the puppetry strings that actually like move the lips and the eyes and the mouth and everything.
Yeah, they had to have someone outside doing the facial stuff. I mean,
yeah, and just the amount of intricacy that went into that is breathtaking. I mean, still to this day, you go back almost 30 years later and you look at that and you're just like, whoa, that's very impressive. But hey, oh gosh, there we go again. We got caught ranting. we do that though. That's kind of our thing, isn't it? But hey, yeah, I guess well, sorry about that. Labyrinth, still love this movie. I'd like to watch it again actually. I'd like to do like I've actually seen some people starting to do this. Like they do like little run-throughs of it and they pause it and they say stuff about it, and then they go back to watching it, and they like show clips of what they were talking about and everything. I'd like to try that out sometime with some movies, like some short films and all that. But hey, we'll see when we get there. But anyway, I guess that's going to do it for this episode of Renegades React. This was the Nostalgia Critics review of Labyrinth, which still great movie. And if you want to see it, feel free to give it a look. Also, if you want to see more of us, feel free to check in the links down below that will lead to our VidMe channel, our Discord, and our Patreon. Also, there's a link to the original video. Check out Doug Walker's channel, The Nostalgia Critic. How many subs is he up to? 983,000. Let's see if we can get him to 1 million before the new year, everybody.
That is awesome.
Let's see if we can get him there, because if anybody on the internet I feel deserves it, it's Doug frickin' Walker and Channel Awesome. So, yeah, give them a look, and I guess until next time, signing off, I'm Nate.
Micah.
And we'll see you later, everyone. Peace out.